guys, I'm super excited about this particular episode. I was on this guy's podcast a couple of months ago, and it was an awesome episode, and I urge you to check it out. I got Adam Skoda with me, and I got to know him a little bit through, just social media and things like that, and we admired each other's content, and he's a dating coach, personal trainer. Feel free to correct me, Adam, if I'm wrong about that. But I know your program is dope, you know what I mean, and all that for personal training and health and fitness and things like that. So, look, if you're looking to up your quote unquote game, up your dating, up your relationships, and you have a personal vested interest in building up your physique, losing some weight, adding some muscle, whatever your fitness goals are, this is the guy that you want to talk to, man, because he's got a foot in both worlds. And so I'm super excited, Adam, man. I'm glad you're here, bro. Been looking forward to this. I know it's been a long time coming, man. It's like, something came up. Oh, got to reschedule. Oh, Wi-Fi issues. Blah, blah, blah. And now we finally made it happen. So,
right.
Yeah, man, I've been looking forward to it. Glad to have you on, dude. So what's the name of your podcast?
Masculine Mindset Show.
That's it. Yeah, I couldn't remember it. I should have asked you earlier, man. My bad on that. But yeah. Masculine Mindset Show, dude, he sent me some episodes of it. It is a phenomenal podcast. It is something that you want to check out because, him and I are both in lockstep, I believe, in terms of how important mindset is. And so we had a great discussion on his podcast about that. And I know that we're going to do the same here, And what's so funny, Adam, is that and I seen this, dude. And then you hit me up. You're like, hey, check out the comment section over here. And I already saw it, bro. A really good friend of mine, Jamie Date, I've known for years and years. Check out her Instagram. She's phenomenal when it comes to online dating and things like that. So definitely check her out. But I saw in the comment section on one of her clips, or shorts or reels or whatever the heck they call them, but I saw on there, she was talking about, guys not making a move, right? Like in an actual date setting. All right. Not in a, necessarily in approaching, although there's something to be said about that too. But, this is somebody she's actually going on a date with, and homeboy just did not make a move whatsoever on her. And she felt turned off by this, and a bunch of people was commenting on it. And I saw your comment, kind of paraphrase for me what you said, man, 'cause I was in total agreement with you.
It was like, basically, if I'm reading some of these comments correctly, if you pursue a girl and make a move, that's considered toxic masculinity. And as the host of the Masculine Mindset Show, I'm like thinking, are you fucking kidding me? Excuse my French, but you know what? I have to drop that word because that right there, just like, I was like thinking in the back of my head, why are guys believing this or even buying into it? As I said on my episode on my podcast, it's just like, you have to stop following the herd. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm like going off of like my comment now, but basically it's like, guys, girls want to be pursued, as Jamie was saying, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So it's like, if you make a move that's considered toxic masculinity, are like, come on. What's toxic is, I would argue, just being passive aggressive. That's toxic, right?
Agreed.
Definitely.
So, and then it's like, you don't make a move. That's just you being a pussy, to be blunt. But it's just like, that's my honesty.
Yeah. And I agree with that 100%. Now, I do believe that there's some people out there, some guys out there who legitimately believe, not albeit I believe it to be wrong, but I think that they're sincere in their belief, in their belief system, their worldview, that that's toxic masculinity and it's something you shouldn't do and things like that. I do believe that there's guys that in their heart of hearts really, truly believe that. Okay. But I think the vast majority of guys, they use their fear and reinvent it as a virtue signal to suggest like, oh, well, I'm such a good guy because I didn't do that. Well, you didn't do that because you were scared, bro. That's what it boiled down to. And now you just want to, play with the verbiage of it to, make yourself look better when in reality you were just scared. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's the thing that drives me crazy. It's like, dude, man, get off your high horse, man. All you were was just being a punk about it. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're scared, just say you're scared and then work on it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to try to reinvent something, something that you did or didn't do just to try to look better. Right. So I'm with you 100%, bro. And I'd love to get your take on this. What do you say to somebody? Because in the comments, you know how this goes. You can argue with somebody in the comment section. And I feel like 9 times out of 10, maybe 95 out of 100, maybe 99 out of 100, it's a waste of time. You're never going to convert somebody through arguing or debating something in a thread in a comment section. People just dig in their heels, Now, face to face, that might be a different story. Okay. But say you were to encounter somebody, I don't know, man, you're walking around, we'll just say you're at the mall. Okay. And there's this girl in the food court, whatever, she's looking good to you. And you walk up, you approach, you start talking to her. And somebody, after that interaction wraps up, a guy walks up to you and is like, hey, man, that's really unacceptable. You shouldn't be doing that. That's toxic masculinity. What do you say to that guy?
What would I say to that guy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good question. I would probably just not respond, honestly.
Okay. I mean,
that's an interesting take.
That's just like some things I don't have to really acknowledge. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I will take my knowledge of game and just put it in that situation. It's just like they're shit testing me, and I'll just be like, okay, take away attention. Do good at something else. I'm not going to let that affect me, kind of thing. It's even, guys, there's some lessons in masculinity too. Be unfazed, be stoic. So,
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely.
I got you.
Also, I feel there is like a small nuance there. It's like there's the thing that girls say. Like if you ask a girl, like how does it feel, when you get approached or something? Most girls on face value will say they don't like to be approached. Like, of course, anyone would technically say that they don't want to be approached by a stranger. Now, the problem that happens is people take that like particular reference and apply it too broadly.
Yeah.
Okay. So now when they hear that, when, let's say they ask a girl, would you like to be approached? Just for an example, what's the most likely answer she's going to say? Like, do you want to be approached by a stranger? She's going to be no, because a stranger by definition will creep her out. Like, because it's
danger. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just like, that's the mentality people have. And this is why, like, that is a very broad explanation. It's not like, it's very specific. It's very broad. So people just equivalent it like, she said this, so that is why I should not approach. They kind of make that assumption. And that is also one thing that guys do, to justify that, okay, I can't approach her. So that it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Yeah.
Like if you keep saying that, if I approach her, she will be creeped out. You end up doing that because now you're either overly aggressive or like you just do something creepy by accident. And now, she's weirded out and you'll get that experience. And once you get that, now you're like, okay, now, no, yeah, I see I was right. You kind of conform to what you wanted to believe in and you just kind of, repeat the pattern. Yeah. But the reality is, like, if she had a good interaction with you,
right?
And like, let's say, Adam approached the girl in the food court. If she had fun, she's going to be happy. She's going to appreciate the fact that you approached her.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the other part of the equation, which nobody thinks about and is actually not shown. Everyone assumes the worst to be the case. Like, she will feel offended.
That's exactly what I was going to say, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Because they just don't consider the fact that there's a chance that she might actually enjoy the interaction and she also wants to meet new people.
Yeah.
Women are way more open to meeting new people than guys are. Mm-hmm. That's like a fact. But most guys, never know this because they don't approach.
Well, the thing is, to your point, man, and you said exactly what I was going to say. What it boils down to is, they don't want to be approached poorly.
Yeah.
What I mean? Look, nobody doesn't want to meet somebody cool, somebody new that's, that they're attracted to, somebody that,
it's fun. Essentially.
Yeah, everybody wants new opportunities that could lead somewhere and things like that. But, if you're not approaching, those things don't happen. And like you said, psychologically speaking, everybody goes to the worst possible scenario. Yeah, she doesn't want to be approached. Well, that's not really true. She just doesn't want to be approached poorly. And she doesn't want to be approached when she really doesn't want to be approached, I don't know, at a funeral or something.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, she's going to be welcoming to an approach because Adam, you know how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Scrums on the bubble. But
hey, that's me.
But because we know how to do it. I know it drives you crazy as much as it does me. And then when you see a bunch of guys being like, dude, it's 2024. You can't approach women these days. You go straight to jail. It's like, dude, I've never known anybody to go to jail that approached a girl. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that's actually went to jail because they approached a girl?
They make these comments, Dale, because that's their weakness is their way out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like if they keep, all right, here's how I see it. Guys, if you want to learn something about women, this is something that I've learned. 60% of women want to be approached. They want to be approached. The other 40% or like the other 30% are open to it. The other 10% are like basically, bitches to be blunt, because they're in a bad mood and probably their time of the month, but no worries. It's all good. But yeah.
Yeah, man. In my heart of hearts, man, I believe that like these comments that you see, whether it's on Jamie's profile or, on her Instagram or, regardless, anybody's that you see that puts out content relating to dating and things like that. When you see like a big proportion of guys being like, oh, you don't approach. That's how you get into trouble. You're like, oh, that's how you get maced and pepper sprayed. And it's like, dude, what?
Yeah.
But the thing is that I truly believe that all that is an echo chamber of guys just parroting other people saying the same thing. Other comment sections that they saw, other guys saying that. And so, you perpetuate a lie enough, it becomes true in a sense, and so not that it's like actually true, but it's true to them. And man, I have been out, dude, I've been doing this a very long time, and I've been out a million times. I've coached a ton of times between boot camps and retreats and just coaching and just, man, I've been out just so like way more than the average guy has been out, probably 100 times more, if not more than that. I have yet to see like one of my guys, be arrested, pepper sprayed, security called on them. Like I've never, now, let's call it what it is. Have I seen harsh rejections or blowouts? Yeah, I've seen that. That comes with the territory though. So, I've seen that, but I've never seen the extremes that these guys put out there in these comment sections. Anytime I see that, all I think is, oh, that's a guy that never approaches in his life or ever has or ever will, And so it's like, what reference experiencing are you using? You don't have any. So all you can do is parrot what you're seeing out there in, on the internet or
on Twitter, more like.
Yeah, it's crazy to me,
They're following the herd still. Dale, we said on my episode called Inner Game, we talked about assertiveness and also seduction. So go check that podcast out, you guys. Inner Game, assertiveness and seduction, with basically Dale and I both touched upon the herd appeal. And what the herd appeal is that you're basically following what everyone thinks and you're not following your own lead. Mm-hmm. Now, if there's another lesson in masculinity, you guys, that is self-leadership. I talk about this because I run an LLC on my blog, and this is really fucking important. I tell my listeners consistently, self-leadership, follow your own lead, trust your own gut, go for what the hell you want. If that girl is cute and you think she is worth your time, go approach.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. But just to play devil's advocate, okay? What would you say to, like, yeah, I would take the lead, or I would, yeah, I'm down to lead myself, but guess what I'm not going to do is lead myself on a safari in the middle of the jungle because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, Yeah. Or like an example I like is, look, my tax guy, that guy takes the lead when we're talking about doing taxes. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a numbers guy. He's the expert. He knows what he's doing. I don't. And so what would you say to, like, okay, yeah, go approach, and I'm with you. But if somebody truly doesn't know how, what's their recourse? Should they approach, or should they try to get a little understanding?
Wave, do something that doesn't involve your voice. I know that sounds like such a pussy comment, because basically you're not you're just keeping your mouth closed. It's like, come on, guys, are you really that much of a pussy that you can't go approach? But anyways, my response is I would just say wave to that girl right there, and don't involve your mouth. But yeah.
Okay. So, all right, you wave, she waves back, then what?
Then you go approach.
Okay, but which leads me back to, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't want to come across as creepy. I don't want to make her feel awkward. I don't want to feel awkward. You've heard it all as much as I have. So,
all right. Well, I would just do this, too. I'd be like, "What's up, girl?" Just like that, bring my head up, because now she knows I'm talking to her. Yeah. What's up, girl? That right there is enough to start an interaction. She'll say, "What's up?" back, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, my coworker, she's kind of funny, but every time we interact, she'll always say the same thing. "What's up, dude?" And I'm like, "What's up, dude?" And it's just back and forth. It goes on like that. And I'll say, how goes it, bro? And I'll call her a bro too. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Right. And then she'll basically be like, "It goes over there." And I'll say, "Where does it go from there?" And it's just banter.
Yeah.
Guys. So I encourage just to make shit up. You don't even have to have a serious conversation with these chicks. Mm-hmm. Guys, a lot of things, okay, what I've learned through the years is you got to be playful. You can't just take your life so seriously. Mm-hmm. Because the more you take your life too seriously, it's these girls are picking up on your energy, and she's going to mirror that.
Yep.
She's going to basically she's going to give you these responses that you're going to have to go with. She's going to test you, obviously, too. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, I would even say, so just start bantering. I love banter, but yeah.
Yeah, I get you, man. And that's one thing that I think is such a slept on concept, is that just having fun with the interaction, right? One of the things I like to coach, and, in Modern Success is one of our, kind of staples, is, look, she wants to have fun. Like, the internet being the land of extremes, like we were just talking about with Jamie, the comment section and all that kind of stuff, it's like, you see like guys being like, no, you have to be stoic. You have to like show no emotion whatsoever. And, and you being ultra serious and you just being, just stone faced and that's what's going to attract her. It's like, no, man, that's what's going to repel her. Like if she goes to the club, all right, and who do you think that she wants to hang out with? The guy who is playing the wall, being tough guy, just looking around and like, looks like he'd rather be anywhere else in the world than there, or the guy who is having the time of his life, having a lot of fun, and he's where the party is. She wants to be with that guy. She wants to be with the guy that's having fun, having a good time, because guess what? She didn't come to the club to, play the wall and look at everybody and act like she doesn't want to be there too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she wants to be with that guy. Like one of the concepts that we talk a lot about. And dude, by the way, Adam, a little off topic here, but dude, you got to come to one of our retreats, man. Like, dude, you'd have so much fun, bro, at one of our retreats. You got to come out one of these times, man. We got one coming up in Fort Lauderdale. We got one coming up in Nashville, and one coming up in Vegas next year. You know what I mean? So
the Vegas one.
Yeah, it's Halloween weekend. So like Vegas is going to be popping, dude. You know what I mean? Good time of year. It's not going to be 130 degrees. You know what I mean? So, but anyway.
Maybe I'll just do that. Like I'm too cool for school, kind of.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We'll show you guys how it's done.
I'm just joking, but guys, it's like I'm the host of the Masculine Mindset Show. I know that there are a lot of things to learn from Stoicism. Okay, However, you take that shit too far in social situations. Girls don't like that because I've learned that the hard way. Right. What I've learned is take yourself too seriously. Don't do shit. It's bad. You have to get out of your own shell, and that's what really that was a huge aha moment in my game. As I started lowering the bar, saying shit that I thought would never be acceptable to say, and I was like, that is another big aha moment, guys. There's nothing wrong to say. Like if you think, oh, you shouldn't say this or you shouldn't say that, it's like people come on my podcast and like they will hear some of these comments that I will make. I'm basically escalating because I talk a lot about escalating, but it's just like when you are too in your head about what to say, then you're not natural.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So what I would say to the average guy is I would say, just get out of your head, right? And be natural. That's it.
Yeah.
Like talk to them like you would do with a friend. That's what I like, at least if anyone asks me, that's how what I see. Like, you don't have to overthink it. Treat the girl just like a normal human. The problem is when you like have an agenda or something you want to do, you come off as, obviously having an agenda or that something, something is off. And that's when the interaction feels like unnatural, as if it's the slimy salesman kind of vibe. If you end up giving that, that's when you actually have the situation where the girl is creeped out. If you just treat her like a normal human being, you don't have that problem. Just normal. You don't have to ask her for anything. It's just like, you're just having a fun, normal conversation, just like you would do with any other guy. Of course, the topics might slightly differ, but, essentially it's the same person. Just treat them like a normal human being. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said. I agree 100%, but there's also something to be said for calibration too. Yes, you have the agency to say anything, right? But that doesn't mean that you should necessarily say anything, right? I mean, because if, we'll just, and I understand that this is a kind of a hyperbolic example, but, like if a girl is being, genuinely opening up and talking about her life and we're, kind of building some connection, and she talks about, her mom just passed away from cancer 2 months ago, and then she's struggling with, accepting that and, the sorrow and the grief process and all that kind of thing. And then I bust out a yo mama joke. It might be ill-timed.
To say the least.
And so, obviously, I don't think anybody would do that. But the thing is that, yes, you can say anything, but that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean to say anything, right? Like, would you agree with that, Adam?
I think what you're saying is like just be calibrated, and read the situation, and then say whatever the fuck you want when it's appropriate.
Right. Exactly.
Just in a normal way. Like, normally you wouldn't, let's say you just met a girl and you wouldn't be like, show me your tits. Like, that's obviously not something a normal person would do, right? That's crazy talk. But again, there's guys who think that's how they should talk. And you would be surprised how many people are that, crazy. So again, nuance there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course you don't want to do that, right? I mean,
yeah.
Although I could make an argument that there's a time and a place to say something like that. You know what I mean?
True.
Maybe not walk up and say that, like as to start with.
Yeah.
But inside of the initial first few minutes of the conversation, I can think of some situations where you might say that and it would be the appropriate thing to say. And I mean outside of a strip club too, by the way.
Yeah. Like you can always in a fun way, it's like, it's so easy to do. Like, especially when you're having fun, it's so easy to do that. But that's the thing though. People like confuse advice like this very easily because like most of these guys who are, I like to call them like, online nerds. Like the thing is they're just online, like 24/7.
Yep.
They don't socialize. They don't know how to talk to a normal person, like a normal human.
Right.
Like you've seen how people talk on the internet, right? That's way different than how they talk, in the real world.
Right.
But that's the problem. People who don't have any real world, communication interaction, they really don't know the difference. So those are the guys who, try to approach the girl and they do something creepy. They get a bad experience. They come to Twitter or Instagram and start, bashing in the comments saying that I did this and this happened and that. And then there's like people who will take his example and then start regurgitating the same thing. Now, exactly. Like people don't there's a lot of nuances to a lot of things. You can't just be, that one guy, like, what's your sample size? What exactly are you doing? That's sort of a thing.
Yeah, context and nuance go out the window when it comes to online conversation. It just does. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Adam, have you ever gotten this before? It drives me up a wall. It happens to me 3 or 4 times a week where somebody will DM you and just be like, hey, man, how do I get more dates?
How do you get more dates? Well, here's what you do. You have to just be unafraid to approach, right?
Yeah.
Embrace your masculine energy, you guys, because women are turned on by masculinity. And don't buy into this leave women alone movement because that's bullshit. But I wanted to tell you guys a story real quick because you mentioned the strip club, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I have this crazy story on my podcast called How to Flirt and Banter with Girls featuring Hannah. And yes, we did have a good back and forth towards the end. That was a good back and forth. But the whole point is at the beginning of the podcast, I told a story on how basically when I was in the VIP room, a girl, no joke, she said, like, can you touch me here? And it was just like some prostitution is going on in these booty bars, you guys. It's very, I was in it. I mean, it's just like, so what I have to say to all of you is, watch who you get dancers from because they can like do shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was lucky that she never asked for like money beyond that. I was lucky, but by the grace of God, I don't want to get involved with that. But ever since that happened, I was like, Adam, just let's not go to booty bars anymore because I don't want to like get myself in like a weird situation because but
one of my students was at a boot camp in Vegas recently, and he was telling me, he was like, he's out on they're at some, kind of exclusive club or whatever. And, in Vegas, it's pretty rampant. You know what I mean? Like these girls aren't just at the strip club. You know what I mean? They're like everywhere. Right. And they're at just a regular club, nice club, but just, no stripping element to it, just a regular, dance club. And he's out on the dance floor and he's dancing, with a couple of girls or whatever. Then this girl comes up and like starts like, basically grinding all up on him and like telling him how hot he is and all this and that. And he's like, dang, I'm killing it. And then she starts like escalating sexually and, dirty talking him in his ears or dancing and all this and that. And they get done or whatever, they leave the dance floor and he's thinking like, this is on lock. Like we're going straight back to the hotel, And she's like, yeah, so, it's going to be $1,500 an hour. And that like blew out his ego, right? He was just, cause he was so like on top of the world. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, hey, you got to pay to play. Right. And so he was all deflated and he was posting in our online forum group on school, like, man, I felt so bad about myself and and I kind of walked him through, how to feel about it or how to process this. But I was like, dude, man, look, the best thing that you can do is just a clever retort, man. And just, it is what it is, like she's a hooker. So she's trying to make her money, like I can't falter that. You know what I mean? So I was like, when she said, yeah, it's going to be $1,500 an hour, I'd be like, dang, girl, those are rookie numbers. You gotta up the ante on that. I'm charging $2,500 for a half hour, but an hour minimum. Come on, girl. I'll tell you what. Matter of fact, it's Thanksgiving time, Black Friday. I'm going to hook you up. I'll throw you one for free. How about that? Like that kind of like retort to that, like, no, I don't know how this girl would take that or accept that or whatever, but it shows kind of like what you were talking about earlier, Adam, with being kind of like non-responsive. Yes, it's a response, but you're not showing that it's like affecting you like that. It just kind of rolls off your shoulders. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, you're right though about there's some shady business that go down in the strip club sometimes.
Yeah. You remind me of this podcast that I have called Alpha Indifference Visualization. It's like what that podcast does is it gets you basically indifferent to rejection. And the reason I bring that up, you guys, is simple, is because we have to be indifferent on what girls think of us. Like there's a lot of guys out there that still are afraid of what people think of them. But again, as I talk about on my podcast, masculine energy validates itself. It's self-validated, draws validation from within. Why do you think women post so many like pictures for attention? External validation.
Yeah, 100%.
Masculine energy is internally validated. So
yeah, man. The way I like to think about it is like this. It's okay to want validation. Everybody wants to be validated on some level, like your workout program that you got out, right? You want people to enjoy it and people to like it and people to adhere to it and use it, in their own life and things like that. And that makes you feel good when they do. You want that. But there's a difference between wanting something and needing something, right? If somebody walks up to me and, hey, man, I just want to hook you up, bro. Here's $20. Cool. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be like, no, I make my own $20. I validate myself. I'm not, I'm going to take the guy's $20 and keep it moving. And I'm going to be grateful for it. Be like, that's cool, man. I do, lunch on him, I guess, but now it's a difference if I'm walking around asking everybody for $20 because I need to get $20 in order for like for whatever reason, but there's a difference between going around and hitting everybody up. You're like, please, man. Oh my God, I'm in dire straits, man. If you have anything you hook me up with, bro, like I'd be eternally grateful. Like, man, it mean the world to me. And then moving on to the next person saying the same shtick and the same shtick and the same shtick because I need that. There's a big difference between those two scenarios. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of guys, and this kind of comes full circle almost back to what we were talking about before, with, guys kind of virtue signaling, toxic masculinity and if you approach but the thing is that, guys are so overly worried in my mind, and tell me if you agree with this. Guys are way overly concerned with coming across as being creepy. I don't want her to think that I'm creepy. So therefore, so I don't jeopardize that, I'm not going to do anything. Right? Now not only are you, okay, you're not creepy, but you're also not on her radar at all. You know what I mean? And so, like why it blows my mind is to think like, why do guys care so much? As long as you're not inherently trying to be creepy, that's different. Of course, you don't go out of your way to be creepy, but why do you think guys are so overly concerned about coming across as being creepy or being labeled creepy? Like, what do you think is the hang up there?
To really dive deep into that question, Dale, I wrote an article on my website called Why Women Think You're Creepy and How to Stop Being Weird. What a good title, right?
Yeah, really. So, I like it.
Creepy translates into just being needy, right? Mm-hmm. And you probably have mommy issues. Now, I'm not saying that to be like a dick, as some people call me sometimes, but I'm saying that as in just you have to really think deep down into your childhood. Why do you think you're being creepy? And you have to really question yourself. Ask yourself these questions. It's something in NLP called limbing, Limbing. Okay, just ask yourself these questions. Why do I think I'm being creepy? What is causing this feeling that I'm having? Just really journal it out, get it on paper. And basically, that's what I did, right? Like, I did a shit ton of journaling, you guys. Like, again, if there's something I can tell all of you guys to really improve masculine energy, that would be self-validation, also journaling, meditation, working out, and even Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That was like 5 I just listed, but
only Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You can't do any other kind of MMA or any kind of. Yeah. It's just that alone. yeah. But to circle back to why guys are probably feeling creepy is just like I think that men have got to start journaling more, because that is what got me out of my like situation like a really long time ago. I was doing limbing in NLP, and basically it's just you find the belief behind the belief, and then you just get down to the fucking root. You get down to the root. Yeah. I think that, and this is this goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about. I think another big thing, and this always baffles my skull, is like, okay, say you have a guy who's like, well, I don't want to approach because I don't want to, I don't want her to feel awkward, or I don't want to bother her, or right? Like again, kind of hung up on what her interpretation of your approach is. And if there's some way that she's going to feel a certain way and not want it, you don't want to put her through that. And on its, face value or merit or whatever, okay, like I guess I see what you're, nobody wants to go around bothering people, but at the same time, it's like, dude, she's an adult, right? Like, hopefully, she's an adult.
Better be.
And has agency. And if she doesn't want to have this conversation with you, she doesn't have to, and she can tell you as much. So, like, why are you treating grown adults like children? To me, that's condescension. It's like, dude, get off your high horse and let her make her own choices for herself. If you're that much about not being, having toxic masculinity, if that's the core thing here, then let her make her own decisions as to what she wants to do. Don't make that decision for her. Like, what makes you entitled to being inside of her head, making her choices for her?
Another thing I would like to add is, I think people have this problem are the people who have like self-esteem issues, like major self-esteem issues, because their concept is they're trying to take something from the girl rather than them giving something to the girl, which is like a positive, fun experience.
Right.
They don't think of that. To them, they're like somehow taking value from her. That's why they are overly bothered. Oh, will she give it to me? Will she think it's creepy if I'm asked it from her? Like, that's the mentality there.
Yeah.
It's not like, I'm giving you a fun time, you're welcome to join in. Like, that is a very different mentality, and that is what you should have. You are giving your positive masculine energy to them. And they need, they are lucky to get it from you. That's the mentality you need to have, not the other way around, that you're trying to take something from them. And that's why it comes off as creepy. That's also one of the reasons why, because you're trying to take something, you automatically become that, slimy salesman vibe. Like, that's what you end up giving, because you're expecting something from her, or you're trying to take something from her, instead of being like, hey, I have value, I'm offering it. Are you up for it? Like, that sort of thing. And if she is not, that's her problem.
Yeah.
You go with somebody else. Like, you inherently don't lose your value just because she doesn't appreciate it. But again, that's not how guys go at it. They're like, I need something. So
right. Yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
I want to say something on what he just said. Guys, if there's one thing that he brought up that I want everyone to consider listening, is just having a taker mentality. That right there is, in my opinion, one of the most unattractive things that any guy can have. That is, you go into interactions with a taker mindset. So, guys, women can pick up on it more than what you think. All right. Now, I know on my podcast, right, I have all these one-liners. I like to flirt and banter, but it's just like, at some point, I'm in the interaction. I have no agenda. I have nothing. Just zero. No ulterior motives. So fucking important. Critical lesson in my even my dating ebooks too. I say no ulterior motives, no agenda. Just go to interactions, like, not expecting shit from her. Not expecting shit. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, who takes things? You know what I mean? Who takes value? Who takes anything? People that don't have. If you have it, you don't need to take it. I've already got it, right? And so if I'm trying to take value from her, that is a telltale sign that I don't have any myself, right? Remember the scenario that I was talking about earlier about, somebody walks up and gives me $20, you know what I mean? Like, cool. I'm grateful for that. That's awesome. You know what I mean? Now let's reverse that a little bit. If I'm walking around just giving out $20 to people, right, just because I feel like it and want to, what if somebody tells me no, right? I walk up like, Adam, I walk up to you and I'm like, here, bro, here's $20. And you're like, nah, I'm good. Does that mean that $20 doesn't have value? It's still worth $20, just the same, right? So just because you don't want it, not saying you would do that. I'm sure you'd be happy to take $20 from me. but the thing is that, just because you didn't want it doesn't mean that the $20 ain't worth $20. You still have that same value as long as you understand and recognize the value that you actually have and what you actually bring. If you're an insecure person who and has low self-esteem to suggest, I don't have any value to offer, one, that's ridiculous. You do. You just don't know what it is, which tells me you don't know yourself well enough. Two, just because you don't think that you do and you do doesn't mean that you can't offer something, right? Even your time, even just a simple conversation, even whatever, you do have things to offer. And so that should be, like, I know when I go out and I'm approaching and things like that, that's my mindset is I just want to have good conversations with people. Now, if it leads to something else, cool. And I'm grateful and I'm glad that it did. But it's on the merit of I'm offering value, not that I'm trying to get something from her. I don't need whatever it is that she has. I don't need it. Now, I might want it, but I don't need it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, man, I love what you said about, like, journaling and things like that, bro. I'm with you 100%, man. Like, that's one of the things I walk my guys through is definitely journal and stuff like that.
Such an underrated habit. It's such an underrated habit.
Yeah.
So many people don't journal, you guys. If you practice journaling, you are ahead of most guys because it's just like, I'm referencing so many podcasts on my podcast library, but it's just like even Jeremy Newsom, who I interviewed, How Making Money Improves Masculinity. He says journaling is a huge success hack. We were both talking about why journaling is so powerful, but either way, it's just like I strongly encourage every single guy listening to just journal. Like, it's such a powerful habit to have. It really is.
Yeah, no doubt. And what I like about journaling is, and I think this is one of the key components of it. You're not just journaling like you're a high school girl keeping a diary under her pillow. You know what I mean? Like the thing is with journaling is you think faster than you write. And so it forces you to slow down your thought process and really think things through as you're writing it, as opposed to it just being just a nebulous thought that pops in the front of your head. You really have to consider it and really have to think it through in order for it to, as you're writing it, right? And one of the things I teach my guys is, to even take it like a step beyond journaling, is writing your story. So what I'll have them do, Adam, is write. It's basically like 3 chapters, okay? And you're writing your history, your past personal experiences as much as you want to, like where you came from and all that kind of thing. Then your present, so like the last 6 months, you know what I mean? Like how your life is in this 6-month span. And then the 3rd chapter being what you want your future story to look like. And now you can start bridging the gaps between the here and now and what that future should look like. You can start like, okay, well, if I'm going to manifest this and I'm going to do this, I got to start doing this and start building those bridgeways between the now and the future, And so, and you're right, man. It's such a slept on thing, dude. Such a slept on thing. Guys, it blows me away on how little guys take into consideration just what their life is like, what your life looks like, but you don't really, I really believe that 90%, if not more, of men really don't have a detailed understanding of what their life looks like. They know the broad strokes. I got a job or I don't have a job. I live here. I do this, and they know the broad strokes, but they don't know the whys behind the what and the limbing, as you talked about. They don't know like the intricacies of it, the nuance of it. They just know what the what is, and that's it, and good enough, I guess. And that's a shame. You should know why you're doing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just find the purpose behind everything that you're doing too, because again, that's something huge. I know I'm going on another masculinity tangent, but it's just like, you guys, in my hardcover book, I say, discover your masculine purpose. Mm-hmm. So it's huge. Like if you want to know why you want to play the field in like the dating game, find your purpose behind that. Like go deep in yourself and find out like what you want from the game. And that might sound like you're having a taker mindset, but not really. If you think about it, Like if you are just going out with no agenda, no ulterior motives, you're just being you, then you don't have an agenda. You're just being you. So, but either way, just back to that point is have a purpose. That's just, again, so many underrated things that guys have to really consider is journaling, discovering their purpose. Even as I was talking to Dale about on Facebook is working out. I mean, I wanted to ask you real quick, what are your thoughts on looks versus game and all that? That was my question to you.
Well, I think, I hate it. Again, it's like this very binary thing that you see online. It's like all or nothing type stuff. It's like you'll see some people be like, that's all that matters. All right. And then you'll see another group being like, it doesn't matter at all. Well, truth is somewhere in the middle, in the gray area, as most things are, And so do I think that the way I look at it is like this, Adam, is it's a piece of a puzzle. It's not the full picture. It's one piece of the picture. And it'd be silly to acknowledge or to say, it's like, does a guy that's extremely good looking, does he have an advantage over somebody who isn't? Sure. I think that'd be silly to say otherwise, but all that does is open the door for you. Just because the door is open doesn't mean you're in the room, I've had guys that I've worked with that I've coached who, actors, models, things like that. They're coming to me for help. You know what I mean? So does that mean that it's the be all end all? No, I don't believe that it is. But that doesn't mean, on the other hand, that it doesn't matter at all. And you should just dress like a hobo and, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just let your hair grow out all crazy and have yellow teeth. I think it's more about the way that you carry yourself than really about how you actually, on a metric scale, a number tier system or whatever, how you actually look. I think it's more about how you present yourself, And so I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, it does. I actually have a story on this real quick, you guys. Years ago, I walked the stage. I was a fitness competitor. And some people, they will come across my podcast and they'll say, you have an exercise course, but I thought looks doesn't matter, Adam. I'm like, oh. I'm like over here thinking, bro, to some extent, if your game is like in the top 1%, that is like the rare case where your looks does not matter. But other than that, I would strongly advise every single man out there to start working out, because if you don't work out, here's how I see it. You're not stacking the chips in your favor. You're stacking the chips against your favor. Yeah. And so here's how I see it. Take care of your body and your body will take care of you.
Exactly.
Go figure. You don't say.
Yeah. And also, you guys, a huge influence on getting into the dating game. I read the book called The Lay Guide, not the game. I read Mystery Method, yes, but again, I only read bits and pieces of the game. But I'm going back before the game, which is called The Lay Guide. Now, in that book, it says very clearly, always look your best. That's so profound to any guy listening that thinks, oh, looks doesn't matter. Guys, this is a very old dating book. It says in that book, always look your best.
Yeah. But even aside, okay, like, dude, it's like, oh, that looks doesn't matter, Adam, right? Like that kind of ridiculous statement, But the thing is, it's like working out, there's a lot of benefits to that outside of, the result being, okay, you look better and things like that. That's one of the benefits of it, but it's not the only benefit of it, right? Like, I don't know, being healthy, maybe living longer,
live longer, be stronger,
raising your testosterone, having more endurance, just feeling better, not being tired and sluggish all the time. I don't know. Call me crazy, but those things matter. You know what I mean? And so, look, like for instance, unfortunately, I don't have, where I live right now, I don't really have a gym local to me. Okay. I do, but it's a shitty gym and it's way overpriced. But so I got to do most of my stuff by like a lot of body weight stuff at home. Okay. And, but the thing is that I don't do that. And this is just me speaking. I'm not saying that you should do this or shouldn't do this. I'm just speaking for myself here. For me, it's not about like I have to, have a certain amount of body fat, or I have to be super ripped in order to go talk to girls, or I have to whatever. For me, it's just about like, hey, I just want to feel good. I want to feel like I'm in, at least decent shape. I want to have stamina. Just like the health benefits of it. I don't use it as like, every time I'm doing a push-up being like, gotta get another girl, I mean, it's not the motivator for me. It's just, it just helps in just so many arenas of life. It's like, I don't see why bottom line is working out is not just about looks.
Yeah. It's not only that. Like I personally think think of it like a video game where you have your character, where, you have all these traits and you have an option to max it out. Okay. So now the max number might be different for everyone, but it's like, okay, let's say your max, let's say appearance can be a 10. You are now at, let's say 4. Why won't you want it at 10? Like if you can take it to max level 10, just take it. It makes the game easier. Yeah. It makes it more fun. Like, why not? There's no exception to it. Like, there's just no reason why you wouldn't do it.
Yeah. And looks are so subjective too.
Yeah, exactly. Like you do your best. You don't have to classify someone else's. You are just like, that's why I say it's like very akin to a video game where you're maxing out your character, be it fitness, health, wealth, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Just think of yourself as that character. See what you want to improve and just do it. Yeah. Stop overthinking at it. Start doing it. And, by the time you realize, like a few years in, you're already there. And then you decide what to do next,
Speaking of doing it, Adam, how can people get your fitness program?
So they can go on my website. Honestly, the easiest way to basically get my program is to look at any podcast description. And I have like in copywriting, because I go by copywriting, that's just how I roll.
Yeah.
It says, when I get the body of an alpha male, click the link below. So that's how they can get it. Now, that program, you guys, I'm going to let you know now, I have you do double workouts. So some people, they'll basically say to me, that's a lot, Adam. Like, I don't have time for that. It's just stupid objection. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Would you rather like just watch Netflix or just jump on, I don't know, masturbate to porn? It's just like, come on. Like, I mean, that's how I see it. It's just, I have free articles though, if they're going to be that much of a wimp because it is a high price. I'm not going to lie, but the whole point is, you guys, he who pays attention. Again, referencing a podcast that I interviewed Jimmy Newsome, and we both talk about how money improves masculinity, and it really does. Like that's a whole different topic in on itself. But it's just like again, it does tie into game too, because you want to have that abundance mindset, right? Think abundantly with money, think abundantly with girls, and even think abundantly with like your body. So,
yeah, well said. We'll wrap it up with that, man. So what I'll do is, guys, listen, if you want to at least check out what his program is about, I'm going to have the link down in the description. All right. You can check it out. But you know what? If you're serious, check it out. You know what I mean? Don't be one of these guys that's telling Adam, I ain't got no time for this, man. Can't you just give me like the 8-minute abs or something? You know, like get Adam if you're serious about it. You know, and what's the best way that people can reach you, Adam?
You can reach me on Instagram, Adam_Skoda.
Okay, cool. And I'll link up the your podcast as well. You know what I mean? So guys, listen, you know, it's not an overbearing podcast where it's hours long. You know what I mean? Like you're getting some quick, simple, but profound mindset changes by checking out his podcast. If you listen to that once a day while you're driving, and by the way, Adam, that's when I've listened to your podcast as I'm driving around, you know, that's all you need, man. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to have it broke down 50 different ways to you. You know, just take that bit of knowledge, start applying it, and you will see a world of difference. Okay. So make sure you check Adam out. And Adam, appreciate you, brother. You know, I'm glad that we finally made it happen, bro. You know what I mean? And so that's what's up. We'll talk to you guys soon.